Yes. Well, thank you guys taking the time to talk to me. We'll get into your new single, your upcoming EP. But here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passions. I want to know where your passion for music came from that led you on this musical journey. Was it a certain album, a certain live performance you saw, or something that was natural for you as a child? Let's start with you, Drew.
Oh man, I mean, like really, ever since I was in like middle school, I've been into music. So like, I think my way into music was through performing, really first. So like, I'm I was a theater kid back in the day. Um, and anyone who like talks to me for more than like 5 seconds will see that. um, but like, yeah, so like theater, and then like being in bands ever since uh around the same time, like in middle school. um being in bands, like doing a lot of covers, um singing in most of them, but then uh throughout like high school and college, I was in a bunch of bands just doing whatever. Like I was a bass player for a long time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, producing, everything, just like I love it all, really.
Do you remember what shows you did while you were in theater?
Yeah. The one that I was most proud of was Avenue Q in college, when I played Princeton. So like that's like with puppets and dancing and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sean, to you?
I think for me, I always come back to this like very vivid memory of being like a small child and sitting in, my childhood home, and my dad had like classic rock music videos on like VH1 or something. And I remember seeing the music video for Free Fallin' by Tom Petty.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And there's a scene where like there's kind of like the build up into like the last sort of chorus, and then there's like a slow motion video of someone on a skateboard going down a half pipe. And for whatever reason, that just like got in my head as like, I want to be that moment. Like I don't even know if it was the song or like the song and the choreography together, but like there was something intrinsic in my head that was like, whatever this is, that's way better than anything that is I've come across, prior to, in the 5 years of my life before that or whatever. And I've just had that in my head ever since. And so as early as I could, as young as I could, I got a guitar and I got a bass and I started playing, and I'm still doing it after all that time.
And Zach, what about for you, my friend?
Yeah, there's like a few memories. Like one of the earliest memories I have, I don't know how old I was or even where I was, but my parents were always big music fans and live music fans. And so I remember going to some, like, it's just like a local fair or festival or something with some local artist, but it was a relatively big production, big speakers. And I remembered as a small child not being able to understand why I could feel the kick drum in my chest, but being like entirely enamored by that. And then like as I got older, a little bit older, like I started playing drums when I was young, just by virtue of there being a drum kit in the house, and I was really bored and didn't have a lot of friends. It's like I started teaching myself, and love for music started to grow there. But as far as like being in a band or performing, it was never something I really considered for a long time, until I started listening to more like smaller pop punk alternative acts that were playing shows in small spaces. And I didn't know that music existed in small spaces, like small 100, 200, 300 cap rooms. I thought it was, it had to be at an amphitheater. It had to be at a big venue. And whenever I saw the energy that could exist in a small room, in that like one can have access to like playing these small rooms, that it's not this far off thing that is, you know, reserved for the ultra like famous bands, you know. It was the first time I saw 4 Years Strong live, where I really started to want to be just like entirely ingrained in the music scene, whatever that is, you know. Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, all that.
I love that. All right, well, let's dive into your new single, Nobody's Burden. It's coming from your EP, Resolution. But I like the art form that is creating a song. I guess you can tell me the story of either inspiration for it or the recording process and all that fun stuff. It's art form I wish I had. I don't know who wants to start, so.
Well, yeah, the song started as an instrumental from our guitar player B.
Okay.
And I was just like, send us like whatever you have, and we'll see if we can like write to it. So I was just like playing the instrumental, and just sort of the way that I write melodies and I write songs is like, I'll just start singing sort of whatever comes to mind the first couple times that I'm listening. So I'll like be looping the song in Logic and just recording, and then just what comes out is like, some of it's gibberish, some of it's like fragments of words, but for me it sort of informs like, okay, what feels good to sing here? And then from those phrases, those words, whatever that come out, usually a song follows.
Mm-hmm.
And I can like use so like in this one, the first line came pretty naturally. It's like, blindsided, that's how it feels to me, I can't fight it now. And then it was like a lot of gibberish, a lot of like, okay, this could be a melody here. And then I knew I wanted the chorus to like sort of explode and be like this big like and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'll find my way home. So like I had those two lines, then I was able to sort of fill in between. So that's how it started. And then we had it like to a point where it was like, okay, let's get this in the room. Like, let's start rehearsing this and see what everyone adds to it, like with their own style.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then we had a pretty good foundation. I had like everything written for it, and I had like lyrically, except for the bridge. And I was like, I don't know what to do here. But it was just really cool.
We also finished that in the room too. Like
I was gonna say,
that
yeah,
that was a big part of it.
It was like this really cool moment where like we don't usually finish stuff in the room together, or we hadn't in the past. But as Zach had like a really good idea for like the energy structure of like what the bridge should feel like. So as like Zach and everyone else were sort of feeling that out in real time, I was like, oh, okay, the bridge should feel like this. And like everything sort of clicked in the room together. And it was this like really exciting moment where like, holy shit, we have a song now. So
and a true rarity for us because we almost never write together.
Yeah, which is like, that was one of our goals with this new EP, was to just make it a more collaborative process. Because like in the past, someone would come in with like a song that was more or less fully finished, and it was just like, how do we fit ourselves into this thing? Where like from this, it was more like from the ground up, we wanted to build it together.
That's awesome.
And, yeah, I think we did that with Nobody's Burden, and then it was just like made so much better with as soon as we introduced Matt Brash, the
Engineer
guy who produced it, into the equation. Like yeah, he was just so, you could tell how much he cared about the music, like from the first time we met him. You know, we sent him demos and like what we had in the room, and he was instantly like sending notes, like pre-production stuff. Yeah, and just helped to really elevate the song before we even stepped in the studio to record it.
That's great. And who did the music video? I love that it's kind of in this attic and you guys change clothes, and then, you know, I assume the cat didn't get boxed up and
Yeah.
Moving, see.
Thanks so much. Yeah, that was my fiance Megan McGinnis recorded that. Yeah, she shot and edited.
Oh wow, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, and that was in Sean's attic.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sean.
my attic is like very
Oh my god.
like cool looking in that it's kind of bare bones, but like it could be something if we put up, drywall or whatever. And I'd always kind of had it pinned in my mind as something we would use one day, because it's just, it's so easy to fill an empty room with things and make it something, and it's just like bare wood when you go up there. So it was just like a cool looking space.
Cool backdrop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
But okay, bro,
Go for
his attic is like, okay, so Sean lives in like the most
it's in the
Pittsburgh
sky.
house ever. So like to get up to the house, you're going up like these steep concrete stairs.
Yeah,
and then,
to
like,
get to my front door, it's like 40 steps, and then
yeah,
and then
then
there's another full staircase up to the bedrooms, and there's another full staircase up to the attic.
So
Yeah.
we had like all the camera gear, all the lights, the set, the drums, like everything. It had to go up from like the street level up all of those steps. So like by the time we're loaded in, we were like, okay, now we have to perform. Oh my god.
My partner always loves it because she says we'll never get robbed, because by the time someone gets up to the house, they're gonna be like, "Fuck this, I'm out of breath."
Yeah. Oh, and that was the day after a show too. So we were
Yes.
already kind of cooked. But yeah.
No, I did. As an editor's perspective, I thought it was cool because most music videos, it's mostly on the lead singer most of the time. But I felt like everyone had like equal amount of like screen time on it. Like, so great job,
That's very kind. I appreciate that.
Megan's very aware, I think, of all of our equally massive egos and how to stroke them so that we won't yell at Drew. Because really, like, Drew's going to be the one that gets punished if he's focused on too much.
Okay. No, Zach had his own little drum thing. That's great. All
Yeah,
right.
we even let Zach be in the camera. It's really good for him. I
Yeah.
think it's good for his self-esteem and everything. So we let him have a few moments.
Oh, after carrying those drums all the way up there,
He did earn them, to be fair.
Yeah, I grew up in Baltimore, and there was this place called Fletcher's in downtown Baltimore, which was on the second level and didn't have an elevator. And I saw Yellow Card when they were just starting out there. And when I interviewed William from it, I was like, I don't know if you remember, but I saw you at this really small place in Baltimore called Fletcher's. He's like, is that the place that had all those stairs we had to carry all the equipment? I'm like, yes.
Those are definitely, like, speaking as a small band, those are the shows that you definitely remember because they're the most they're just the most painful to set up,
He's like, yeah, all our backs were feeling it days after that. Well, cool. Well, let's get into the EP, which comes out May 23rd. I got to send an early copy of it. And my favorite track that really came out was the last one, People Pleaser. So I guess you can kind of dive into the writing or recording or inspiration for that one.
That was a total Drew song.
Good.
Yeah, that one existed for a while in like many forms. So like, I don't know, like I had a version of it. Yeah, I guess it was yeah, it was like from the era of like our last EP almost. Like it almost was ready enough to make it onto that. But we were like, let's take our time with it. Like we weren't dead set on the lyrics. And yeah, I don't know. It was like I was the only one that liked the song at one point, and I was like, I was like, I get it. We'll
it was a battle for sure.
Yeah, like, and I'd rather make stuff that we're all excited about, but I don't know. When we were thinking about like what sort of belongs on this EP, we were like, I was like, I want to give this another try. So I was like, do we have any other ideas for lyrics? And it became a more collaborative thing. Like Sean and B both contributed a lot to like what you hear as the final song now. Yeah, so that was like sort of
like that,
yeah.
Because if you probably just released a single, that song wouldn't have made it, you know. So I'm glad because like I said, it's my favorite. So
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, so like when so it almost died once, when it was like just a pre-production thing, and then when we had our first trip out to Philly to record the EP, we originally had 8 days booked with Matt to do 5 songs, and we're like, we got this. We can.
yeah.
Come on, we already know all the songs go, and then sure enough, like when you spend so much time like on all the little details of the EP, you see like your time just get eaten up, and you're like, oh god, we're not going to get this 5th song done unless we like really hurry. So like we would come home from the studio every day and like at our Airbnb we were staying at and talk about like, okay, what has to be done to get People Pleaser done, because that was like the 5th song on the EP that we were going to do. And we would just be like, okay, we got to get this done. And we called it the path to PP. So we were like, if we do all of this, we can get to PP. We can get PP done. And yeah, sure enough, we couldn't do it
Total
in
flop.
the first
Yep.
trip.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, we couldn't do it in the first trip. So like we had to plan a second trip out to Philly just to finish
That
People
song.
Pleaser.
Okay.
So yeah, it like
I assume it's like a 5-hour drive from Pittsburgh to Philly.
Yeah.
No.
well, like the universe did not want this song to exist, and we willed it into existence anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were also like weird tech issues the day of, and then I mean
Right.
it was like a whole thing because we ended up thinking we were going to just track in the morning and then head home because we had the drums done. But then, like, as the day wore on, we were like, oh, God, are we going to have to stay overnight and
Oh,
kind of reset?
And I had the fucking flu.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
that is
I
true.
forgot about that part. Yeah, so like we played a show in New York the day before our very first show in New York City with our friend Shower Beers. That was really fun. But like after that, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have a voice, man, because like I'm ill. And then we showed up, and I was like, I'm gonna try it, but I might just be recording this at home. And Matt was like, just go for it. We'll go line by line if we have to. And like
It was fun.
somehow we got her done.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. It makes me like the song that much more. How much trouble we went through to get
Yeah,
it.
it was like really, really a hardship in a very like, sort of privileged way. But at the time it was like when you're investing X amount of dollars into this thing going correctly and then everything is going wrong,
Mhm.
it feels like cursed in some ways. But
Yeah, the path to PP was long and hard, but we got it.
It's fine with me. I had it
yeah,
done.
Zach had it done
Pretty
immediately.
quickly, huh, Zach? And then it was like-
Yeah, we got there Sunday night. I did all the drums between Sunday night and Monday, and so yeah, I was feeling fine.
Yeah, then he just kind of sat there for 6 or 7 more days.
Played Red Dead
Yeah.
Redemption in the corner.
Played well, that time it was Days Gone. Red Dead Redemption was the second time.
Oh, true. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
That was People Pleaser Day where he was just collecting herbs.
Dude, I
Yeah.
can't listen to Nobody's Burden without thinking about the Hot Wheels racing game.
Oh yeah,
Because
that
the
was a
whole
big
time-
one.
That-
The whole time that B's tracking, me and Sean are just...
That was a big
Hunkered down
hurdle
racing.
for us because I don't know if you have looked at Steven, do you play PS5 at all?
I have PlayStation 5, yeah.
So like the 2-player games that you can play like offline together are like it's like not the best selection. So
Yeah.
we could we ended up just kind of settling on Hot Wheels Unleashed, and then we just became obsessed with it. Like the longer the week went on, we were like collecting different Hot Wheels cars, and it just became like this really unhealthy relationship with a video game that was 2-player.
That's awesome. Maybe there'll be a song about your about that down the road.
Someday, maybe we'll get some Hot Wheels money out of it.
I was going to say, I want to be in the next Hot Wheels racing game soundtrack.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go. Well, cool. You got some upcoming tour dates. You're playing in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the Launch Music Conference. That's a pretty big deal, you know. And then you got shows in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Columbus, and Kentucky all through April through May. What can people expect about your show, especially the conference one? That's really cool. That's
Yeah, we just kind of gallivant around the Northeast at this point. We've been lucky enough to develop some relationships with bands in Philly and New York and New Jersey and Ohio even now. We've started to kind of play more. And it's just going to be more of that. And I think I see like a small touring band as like a game of Risk. You know, you build up your teams in that area, and then you can kind of open the board a little more, and maybe we'll go to Chicago or whatever next. So it's just a matter of like, how can we make this financially work on this, you know, with these kind of 5 cities.
yeah.
And then once we can do that, we can add, you know, 2 more cities. And that's kind of how we've been playing it so far. Because it's really expensive to just be on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Your passion comes in for it just to get it, you know, to make these shows and make it happen, you know. So
Yeah, absolutely.
awesome. Anything else in the works about you're allowed to talk about before I let you go?
Well, we have more songs. We're going to start working on them. There were just because of time constraints, we couldn't get to every single song we had. And we also wanted to focus on quality more so than quantity.
Yeah.
But we still have some songs that we're kind of ready with. And 2 or 3 more songs that we've kind of introduced recently that are even newer. So, you know, just keep writing and playing, getting on the road. That's been our formula so far. So I feel like if we just keep slamming against the brick wall, eventually we'll break through.
Well, hopefully one day you can make it down here to Orlando so I can see you guys live. So
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
that was kind of a trip from Pittsburgh, so one day. Well, yeah, everyone check out your EP. It's coming out May 23rd. It's called Resolution. Or in the meantime, you can check out your single Nobody's Burden. Check out the music video. They had to break their backs, taking all the instruments up in the attic. And I'm going to have all your social media links down below, including the upcoming tour dates we just discussed. So thank you all taking your time to talk to me, and let's talk down the road when this new music comes out.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks
really
for having us.
appreciate you, Stephen. Thank you.